follow. Look who walks in, dripping with the kind of chaos they fear. A decade, 10 years, sounds like a measurement of time. But for you, it was a sentence. Not behind bars, no, behind chaos. Behind betrayals, behind lies. Behind people who drained your strength and called it love. Who broke your spirit and called it teaching you lessons. You carried it all in silence, didn't you? Nights that felt endless. Mornings that mocked you with another round of battles you didn't ask for. 10 years of chaos disguised as living, and yet you endured. That's the part they'll never understand. Chaos was supposed to break you, not sharpen you. Betrayal was supposed to silence you, not carve your voice into something unforgettable. Every scar you earned in that decade was meant to bury you. Instead, it turned you into steel. But here's the twist they never saw coming. The truth doesn't stay buried. It crawls through cracks. It climbs over lies. It waits for the moment to break chains. And tonight, it came for you. Tonight, after years of poison words, confusion, and masks, the truth finally stood naked in front of you. It freed you. It ripped away every illusion that chained you to their games. And while it freed you, it destroyed them. You see, the truth doesn't arrive quietly. It comes like fire in a room soaked with gasoline. It burns down reputations built on lies. It shatters the faces they wore to convince the world. The truth didn't just hand you freedom. It handed them collapse. And you didn't even have to lift a finger. Because that's the beauty of surviving chaos. At first you think it stole your life, but later you realize it was preparing you for this moment. The moment when the truth exposes everything they hid, everything they whispered, everything they built out of shadows. And when it does, the same people who thought they had power over you crumble beneath the weight of their own deception. And tonight, the decade flips. You're no longer chained to their chaos. They're chained to their consequences. What they never understood about chaos. It feeds on silence. It thrives when you doubt yourself, when you stay quiet, when you keep carrying their lies like weights chained to your chest. For years, they built their empire on your hesitation. They thought as long as you kept second-guessing yourself, they'd keep winning. But the truth? Oh, it doesn't play by their rules. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't bargain. It simply arrives. And when it does, it shatters everything they constructed. That's why tonight feels so different. Because for the first time in a decade, you're not the one standing in the fire. They are the ones burning. Look at it clearly. The same tricks they used on you. The masks, the gaslighting, the whispers. It all turned on them. The lies they spread about you, they've circled back. Choking their own reputation. The power they thought they had. Gone, exposed as paper thin. That's what truth does. It doesn't just free the victim. It devours the pretender. And here's the cruel, beautiful irony. You don't even have to lift a sword. The truth fights for you. Every eye that once doubted you is now watching them collapse. Every whisper that once mocked you now laughs at them. And while they scramble to explain, to deny, to cover their cracks, you stand there untouched, silent, free. You see, revenge isn't about rage anymore. It's about revelation. It's about letting the truth reveal what you always knew in your gut. They were never strong. They were never powerful. They were never in control. They just borrowed your silence and built their illusion. But tonight, silence ended. The truth walked in and flipped the script. And in that flip, they weren't just defeated. They were dismantled. 10 years. That's what they tried to erase from you. They thought if they dragged you through enough storms, you'd forget your own light. They thought if they buried you under chaos long enough, you'd start believing you were the problem. But every sleepless night, every wound, every betrayal, that wasn't weakness. It was training all along. See, survival isn't just about breathing. It's about sharpening. Every lie they fed you turned into a weapon of clarity in your hand. Every time they left you broken, you learned how to heal yourself. Every disappointment, every silence, every abandonment, it was all carving you into something they could never predict, a force beyond breaking. And now, here you stand, not fragile, not shattered, but armored. Not the same person who stumbled into that chaos a decade ago, but someone forged in the fire of it. And here's the part that terrifies them. Nothing they throw at you works anymore. Manipulation? You see it coming before they even open their mouths. Lies? They collapse the moment they're spoken. Threats? You've already endured worse than anything they could imagine. This is what they don't get. Chaos was never your enemy. It was your blacksmith. It hammered you, burned you, broke you down, and rebuilt you into steel they can't bend. And now the very scars they mocked are the reason you're untouchable. So tonight isn't just freedom, it's graduation. You didn't just survive the decade, you weaponized it. And now the battlefield isn't even fair anymore, because they're still playing games in the dark, while you've already learned how to see in it. And the truth, it didn't just free you, it crowned you once and for all. Here's the thing about masks, they don't fall in silence. They crash down loud, and when theirs hit the ground, the echo reached everyone. The people they fooled, they see it now. The ones they manipulated, they remember every detail. The world that once clapped for them, it's watching with laughter, seeing the act unravel, because chaos works in the shadows. But truth loves the spotlight, and now it's shining on them like a burning sun, exposing every crack they swore didn't exist. Every whisper you once heard behind your back is now a shout in their face. And the same audience that once doubted you, they're watching them stumble. Look at how fast the tides turn. One moment they were untouchable. The next, they're explaining themselves to people who no longer believe a word they say. That's the cruelty of truth. It doesn't give warnings. It doesn't give them time to prepare. It just strips them bare in front of the same world they used to rule. And you don't even have to move. You don't even have to speak. That's what dominance looks like. While they claw to defend their name, you stand silent, untouchable, untarnished. The story flipped, and now you're the one with the light behind you. Not because you begged for it, not because you demanded it, but because the truth always crowns the survivor. And the world sees it. They can't look away. You endured a decade in silence, and now your silence has become the loudest sound in the room. They wanted to bury you, but all they did was plant the roots of your legend. And tonight, those roots broke the surface. Their collapse isn't private, it's public. And your rise, unstoppable, undeniable, eternal. You ever notice how silence feels different when it's no longer forced on you? For years, silence was your prison. You swallowed words. You buried storms in your chest just to keep a peace that was never real. But tonight, silence is yours. It's no longer a cage. It's a crown of fire. And with that crown, you breathe different. The weight on your back, gone. The guilt they shoved on your shoulders, lifted. The shadows they dragged you into, burned away under the light they swore you'd never hold again. Freedom isn't soft. It's sharp. It cuts through illusions, through manipulation, through the false histories they tried to write. For the first time in years, you're not playing their game. You're standing above the board, flipping it over, rewriting the rules in ink that can't be erased. Look at yourself now. Unchained, untied, unapologetic. You survived what was designed to break you. And instead of coming out small, you came out colossal, unshaken, undeniable. That's the real terror for them. Not just that you escaped, but that you escaped stronger, colder, sharper. You didn't crawl out, you rose out. And tonight you feel it. Every inhale tastes different, like oxygen was waiting for this exact moment. Every step feels heavier, not with pain, but with presence. And people notice. They can't explain it, but they feel it. Something about you has shifted. You're not the same. You're not supposed to be, because freedom doesn't just heal. It transforms. It sharpens your vision. It fortifies your spirit. It teaches you that the very walls they built to contain, you became the bricks you now stand on. And the higher you stand, the smaller they look. Funny thing about freedom, it echoes. You think it's just in your chest, your breath, your steps. But no, it spreads. It leaks into the cracks of the rooms they hide in. It travels like smoke under doors, like whispers down hallways. And suddenly they feel it too. They don't see your face anymore. They don't hear your voice anymore. But that absence, it roars louder than presence itself. That silence they thought would bury you, now it buries them, See, they were addicted to your struggle. Your explanations, your defenses, every word you gave was fuel for their control. But when you stopped feeding them, when you walked away with nothing but your silence, that's when the walls of their world started trembling. And now they're pacing, checking mirrors, asking questions out loud to no one. Why did they stop? Why aren't they calling? Why aren't they chasing anymore? Their mind is the prison now. Every unanswered thought is a chain on them. That's the twist. They wanted you broken. They wanted you silent, but they never considered silence on your terms. Silence with discipline, silence with weight, silence that doesn't beg, it exposes, and it consumes them. Because freedom isn't just about walking away. It's about haunting the places you left behind. It's about leaving a silence so heavy, it bends the air around it. It's about letting them suffocate on the truth they thought they could bury. And the truth is simple, you're gone. You're untouchable, you're unforgettable, and they can't stand it. Enough about them. Let's talk about you. Because freedom isn't just leaving behind what broke you. It's stepping into the fire that reshapes you. For the first time in years, you're not carrying their weight. Not their doubts, not their whispers, not their poison. You're lighter, you're sharper, you're more dangerous in ways they can't even measure. You've stopped asking for clarity. You've stopped begging for respect. And in that silence, something new was born. Focus, discipline, power. Look at you now. Nights that used to drown you in regret. You own them. Mornings that once felt like punishment. Now they're your battlefield. Every scar, every wound, every betrayal. You turned them into bricks. And brick by brick, you're building an empire in silence. See, chaos was their game. Control was their drug. But you don't need games anymore. You don't need validation anymore. You don't need a crowd. You need one thing, direction. And you've found it. That's the real threat. Not your rage, not your arguments, not your noise. No, the threat is your calm. The threat is your silence. The threat is you moving forward so relentlessly that nothing, no one, not even the ghosts of your past can keep up. And when they look at you now, they don't see the victim they thought they broke. They see the storm they accidentally unleashed. Because chaos tried to destroy you. But chaos only carved your name into history. You think it's an accident you survived all that? No, the universe doesn't waste storms on the weak. It sends them to the ones who can carry the lightning. That's you. Every scar you've got is a receipt. Proof that you were chosen for something greater. Proof that while others folded in the fire, you kept walking through it. You want to know why people stare at you different? Why the room shifts when you enter? It's not your clothes. It's not your smile. It's the aura, the weight, the presence of someone who's been tested and refused to break. Legends aren't born in peace. They're carved in chaos. And every sleepless night you had, every betrayal you swallowed, every time you wanted to give up but didn't, that was the hammer and chisel shaping you into something unforgettable. Think about it. They thought they buried you, but you were a seed. And now, look at what's growing. A version of you that doesn't bend, doesn't explain, doesn't bow. A version of you that walks in silence but leaves quakes behind. And here's the truth most won't admit. They're jealous. Jealous that after everything they did to break you, you still rise. Jealous that your story is being written in ink, while theirs fades like pencil marks in the rain. You don't just carry scars, you carry proof that nothing, not betrayal, not chaos, not abandonment, could erase you. And that's why your story will never die. Because it was written in pain, but sealed in strength. You've noticed it, haven't you? The way people pause when you enter a room. They might not say it out loud, but they feel it. The pressure, the weight, the shift. It's like gravity bends differently around you. And that's not luck. That's not chance. That's the aura of someone who's been through fire and walked out with lightning in their eyes. People can fake smiles, they can fake confidence, but they can't fake presence. Presence is earned. Presence is bought with years of struggle, with pain swallowed in silence, with discipline when nobody was watching. That's why you feel untouchable now, because you are. Every step you take drags chains of memory behind it. The echoes of every moment you didn't break. People don't see those nights, those fights, those inner wars, but they feel the outcome. They feel the quiet dominance. The energy that says, I survived storms you couldn't even imagine. And now I don't just exist. I command the room. That's why they can't look away. That's why the whispers follow you. Because you remind them of everything they failed to become. You are proof that scars can shine, that chaos can create kings, that betrayal can build legends. And here's the funny part, you don't even have to try anymore. Your silence screams louder than their noise ever could. Your calm unsettles them, your stillness shakes them, because deep down they know you're not playing the same game anymore. You are the game. Do you realize what you've become? You're not just a person anymore. You're a story. A legend whispered in rooms where your name isn't even spoken out loud, because just the thought of you carries weight. Behind closed doors, they talk, they wonder, they try to decode you like a puzzle that refuses to be solved. How did you survive that storm? How did you rise from the ashes they buried you in? How do you keep walking with that calm, steady fire in your chest? It's simple. You stopped being human the moment you stopped begging for recognition. You stopped being ordinary the moment you embraced silence as your ally. Now you're something else, something they can't measure, can't contain, can't ignore. Legends don't need introductions. They don't need explanations. They don't even need applause. They just exist, and the world bends around them. That's you now. You don't enter a room, you alter it. You don't speak words, you leave echoes. You don't live in their memories, you haunt them. And here's the part that chills them to their core. You're not even finished. What they're seeing now is just the surface, the preview, the shadow. The full storm is still coming. And when it arrives, it won't just shake their world. It'll rewrite it. So let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them plot. None of it matters, because they're dealing with something they'll never understand. A legend in the making. A force that doesn't bow. A presence that history itself is learning to fear. This is the moment they never prepared for. They thought your silence was surrender. They thought your distance was defeat. But silence was your weapon. Distance was your training ground. And now you've crossed the line they can't pull you back from. You've become untouchable, not because life spared you, but because life broke you, remade you, and left you sharper than steel. Every betrayal was a forge. Every setback was a fire. Every scar is now a medal they'll never take from you. They don't see it yet, but you've already left them behind. While they whisper, you build. While they doubt, you rise. While they cling to the past, you're shaping the future. That's why the room feels heavier when you walk in, because your presence carries tomorrow with it. And here's the truth, there's no going back. You've outgrown their chains, outpaced their noise, outlived their games. You're not competing with them anymore. You're competing with history, and history doesn't remember the ordinary. It only remembers those who changed the air, who rewrote the script, who made the world adjust to their presence. That's you, the pivot point, the reminder that legends don't ask for permission. They don't wait for recognition. They take the stage, burn their name into stone, and leave echoes that outlive centuries. So understand this, from here on, you're not chasing victory. You are victory. You're not waiting for history. You're writing it. Every step you take is a declaration. Every silence you choose is a sentence. And every move you make shakes the foundation they thought was unshakable. You've become the storm they can't outrun, the silence they can't silence, the legend they can't erase. So look around. Do you feel it? The shift, the weight, the electricity in the air? That's not coincidence. That's not luck. That's the world adjusting to you, to your presence, to your rise. For years, they doubted you. For years, they laughed. They underestimated. They whispered behind closed doors, thinking you'd never rise above the chaos. But tonight the script flipped. You are no longer the one trying to prove your worth. You are no longer the one explaining your pain. You are no longer the one begging for a seat at their table. No, now you are the table. Now you are the reason the room holds its breath. And the truth, they can't take their eyes off you. Not because they admire you, but because they fear you. Because deep down, they know you're the proof that storms don't destroy legends, they create them. This is your era, your time. The moment the world realizes it can't box you in, can't chain you down, can't write you off. You've taken chaos, betrayal, and silence, and turned them into weapons sharper than any blade. And with them, you've carved your name into eternity. So remember this: when you move, the ground shakes. When you speak, echoes follow. And when you fall silent, the world panics, because your silence is never empty. It's heavy. It's final. It's the warning bell of a storm they'll never survive. You are not just surviving anymore. You are conquering. You are not just existing. You are defining. And history just made space for your name in its darkest, boldest ink forever.